Welcome back, Elden Ring fans, to another video. In today's video, we have my Dex build. Now, this Dex build is a little different than most people would suspect. Most people put 60 into Dex or even 80 into Dex and expect it to be a powerhouse, when in reality, I believe that that is a misuse of levels. So I'm going to show you how I use my Dex build. Now, with my Dex build, I actually do main a couple of other weapons. I have Ultra Great Swords viable to me. I have many more options than people would actually think. Now, you don't have to have 60 and 80 in Dex in order to use weapons to their fullest potential, because you can actually do more than that if you actually stat your character correctly. Now, as you can see, we're buffing. We shouldn't be able to buff with just a pure Dex build, and pure Dex builds may reach 900 with this weapon, but when it comes down to it, Faith is always going to beat you out with buffs. There's nothing you can really do. You can stack buffs, and as you can see here in my pause menu, whenever I go into it, I'm doing about 1206 with the fucking Bloodhound's Fang. That is wild. Nobody in their right mind that is at level 150 that has 80 Dex is able to do that. You're not able to do it no matter what you do, unless you decide to throw away your health or throw away your endurance or maybe even your strength to put 25 into Faith. It's not happening. But at that point, you're kind of throwing your build to one side, which is fine. But I wanted to build for diversity. I wanted to be able to use Ultras in case I needed to use them. I wanted to be able to use, some Faith weapons in case I wanted to use them. I like using Blasphemous Blade. This build is good for Blasphemous Blade. I can use it, and it won't be that big of an issue. Now this weapon is insane. Of course, Bloodhound's Fang is crazy. In my last video, we had a comment from a new player who is using Bloodhound's Fang and wanted to make a build for it. I do highly recommend that you stat slowly and go basically you want to go from Dex to putting more into Faith and Strength while you're building up your character's vigor and stuff like that, like your endurance, because it is going to matter when you're using a weapon like this. These are my stats. If you guys want to copy them down, feel more than free to come back here and pause and go through it all. You'll actually be amazed with some of the weapons you can use if you just make them lightning, and they're meant for another build. If you make them lightning, they'll be insane. Like you're getting 980 with an Ultra Great Sword. You're getting some wild numbers out there. Don't always use Zweihander, because Zweihander's not really the best for damage, but I use the Great Sword, but you can use that. There's a lot of things you can do with this build. You can still use Frostbite. You can still stack with Sacred Oath and Flame Grant Me Strength. If you want to go for the Keen route, you can do exactly how I'm doing here with Bloodhound's Fang. You can use Lightning Ornament or Electrify Ornament, and that does a shitload. Like, it's crazy. If you have a good connection, I recommend using this. If you have Blood Flame Blade, I recommend actually using that for laggy people, because once hit with Blood Flame Blade, it does continue to proc bleed, and eventually you'll be able to hit somebody who's laggy. And if you hit them with the blade, I mean, that's all the more to you. You're doing half their health. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about this build. This build is pretty wild, and I just wanted to show it off. You're going to see a lot more things like this from me with my next videos. I have quite a many other builds. Actually, my bleed build I'm planning on doing next, and that one is absolutely wild. You will be shocked what I can do to Melania in like 2 seconds. But with this build, I highly recommend that you stay at 150. Like I said, that's the biggest things you need to remember about my builds. They're all at 150 for meta level PvP. That's why I keep them there. Sure, you can go higher if you want to, but if you're just starting out and you want to stay with the community and you don't want to go higher to the point that you're not with anybody besides max levels, or at least in the 200s, you want to stay at 150. That's what I recommend. We always want to remember that the more options you have, the more things you can tackle. And that's what I build these builds for. It's so that people have options. You're not stuck with lightning. You're not stuck with physical. You're not stuck with bleed. Because all it takes is somebody using a buff, and they completely cancel out your build. I mean, look at this gentleman I'm fighting right here. I'm going after him, and I realize that, man, I'm doing pretty good damage on my hits, but I'm also using bleed. I mean, I can do more damage with lightning. With this build, we're able to adapt a lot. We have a lot of options. People don't seem to understand that just because there's a soft cap for certain things doesn't mean it's for everything. Like, okay, if you take Blasphemous Blade and you have 99 Faith, sure, you might be doing 70 more damage than my 25 Faith with 31 Strength and 22 Dex. You might be doing 80 more AR, but here I am buffing and I'm at a lower level than you, or I have more options than you, and I'm doing outright more damage than you. it's kind of screwy. So take a look at it, go through and balance out your build and really take advantage of what I'm showing to you, because if you don't, you're going to wind up missing out. So now that this build is out of the way, in the next few days I will upload another video with a new build, and you guys hopefully enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. I just wanted to let you guys know I really appreciate it. So thank you, and peace out everybody, and have a good one.